Northvolt is the Swedish battery manufacturer that was set up in 2016 with the single goal of creating sustainable battery production in Europe. The only company really to do that, because China are the big players compared to basically anywhere else in the world. They just produce almost all of the world's batteries. So if we want to sell 720 million people in Europe cars with batteries in over the next 20-30 years, we really need to not purchase them and then build them into our cars and sell them, but to make the batteries ourselves. In a couple of ways we can do that. The company was founded by former Tesla executive Peter Carlson. He's a Swedish chap, and it is backed by several major stakeholders, including Volkswagen, BMW, the European Investment Bank. So Northvolt's primary aim, its one goal, is simply to create as much battery storage as it can possibly do so in a short time as possible, to take as much market share as possible. That is the single aim. As actually in an interview, the founder of Northolt actually said that as well. Not in those words, that's kind of a paraphrase, but so basically, Europe, 720 million people in it. China has over 1 billion, just for comparison. So Europe is a massive market, and we're currently buying almost all of our batteries from China, which is a crazy idea. The International Energy Agency reports that China creates about 85% of all batteries sold in the world. They all come from China, basically. That, and also the investment in batteries last year in China, 2023, went up 364%. That is an incredible statistic, I think. This is where it gets sticky. In 2023, in the company's latest financial report for Northvolt, they said in 2022 they made $107 million US. That went up to $128 million in 2023, but their losses went from 284 million lost net to 1.167 billion US dollars lost. That is a big deal. That's on the verge of bankruptcy, really. In Europe, we've pinned basically all of our hopes on Northvolt creating the batteries that we need. I don't think it's just me and other regular folk. I think also big companies, big businesses, governments in the European Union, they've also actually been giving money. They've been backing Northvolt financially. So they've had, or they still maybe have, plans for multiple gigafactories in Europe, in the European Union, including the flagship facility Northolt in Skellefteå, in the north of Sweden, in a very rural place in Sweden, which does make actually pretty decent sense. That's the one with really crappy and shocking Google reviews. If you have a look, it's really interesting. Maybe I'll put some screenshots on there too for you. They're also going to do another factory in Germany. Who knows, when you've got losses like that, if you could possibly be trying to pitch to places, that you're going to be an establishing business in their country. I don't know if you could really do that so easily. So basically, the European Union have supported Northvolt because it aligns with the European Union's climate goals and reduces reliance on Chinese battery imports, which is obviously a big thing. Also, this kind of ties up a little bit with the battery passports, which are they're confirmed, they're happening. So every battery will have a kind of passport, digital certificate with it. Recent struggles have included delays constructing the big plant in North Sweden, Northolt, which is the main one, where material shortages, rising costs of green materials, technical setbacks, just employees not being very happy. They've all slowed progress majorly. Recent struggles have included delays constructing Northolt in the north of Sweden, where material shortages, rising costs, just getting green metals that are not used, produced in a very dirty way, technical setbacks, all slowed progress down. That's why it took forever. And basically all the headlines are saying that it's just delayed. And so now I think they only produced, I think it was 16 gigawatt hours of energy last year for the whole year. Not very much at all. So Northolt AB, which is a key subsidiary responsible for much of the manufacturing expansion for Northvolt, they filed for bankruptcy. This filing stems from a combination of over ambitious timelines and seemingly not really caring about its employees. Its employees are really unhappy with the company. Northvolt is really fighting for survival rather than succeeding in any way at all, really in any way. So for Europeans, starting a giant battery plant, that's a totally new concept. We just have not done that. A bloke from Sweden that worked for Tesla, he's not done it. Even though he's worked for Tesla, he's got some connections, he knows some stuff, but it's not exactly, there is no blueprint for this sort of stuff, obviously. So we haven't done that before. Likely, It will probably work if he kept on going and kept on going for 5, 10, 15 years, and we can work through these problems. I reckon he could ride the storm if he can not go bankrupt and make this happen and make it work. It is a fight worth fighting and backing, in my opinion. Hence why, I think other people in the governments in the European Union, I think they've found that. I think they've established that. I think that's why they've been giving them money and backing them. So look at China. They see the value in supporting their businesses, really, like BYD, and giving them cheap or free land, and actually just giving them cold hard cash, and giving them discounts off of taxes, things like that, really big discounts. They can see the value in supporting their business, and this is the thing that European Union, European Union don't really do that much. So the European Union and local governments should really be thinking how they could be best backing Northolt, I think. There's been a lot of talk about whether we should just give up with Northolt and the idea of producing our batteries. It's clearly not a thing we've got much experience in. China, they've already done really well at it. They're not overly expensive. Let's just keep buying them from China. Of course, some of these comments are coming from more than likely spam bots on my comment section, and they just say, "Oh, just buy them from China. Don't worry about it. It's fine." That is obviously a bit silly, I think. If you're, because then they could just put the prices up in 20 years. And I think that would be a massive blow to our economies in Europe. Don't forget, there are, 27 or 30 countries in Europe, so it's a big deal. That would be a lot of money leaving our economy for 720 million people in the next 30 years, paying for electric cars and things, all going abroad. That is obviously an issue, so I think it is best we try and figure it out. What do you all think about this situation with Northvolt? Please take a minute to write a comment for us all to see below. I'm Ben Alexander. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate your time. I make EV news videos every day, and also to answer a question I get sometimes in the comments, because I'm an English person. I sound like I'm a very English person, but I'm in Australia sometimes. I'm in Australia and Scandinavia. I'm in England sometimes. Who am I? I'm based in Europe, basically, and at the minute I'm renovating a house here in Australia. I've lived in Australia for a few years, and then I decided at the beginning of this year to live in Europe again. So I base myself in Europe, and I'm literally just here for a while to renovate a house. That's just to answer the question, who I am, I suppose.